All right, Florida State fans, you can't get 5 football commits every week. All right, welcome to Seminoles Live here at the Voice of College Football with Jason Parker from NBC6, and waiting in the wings, we believe, is Logan Robinson from Nole Game Day. Of course, you guys ultimately out there produce the show, so please leave your comments, your questions, your debate topics in the live chat, and we will kick it into gear here with Jason. How are we doing tonight, JP?
I'm good. Hopefully Logan didn't lose his power. Obviously, there was that little, tropical storm Elsa that couldn't let it go. It held up in the panhandle. So hopefully he has power. Hopefully he'll be joining us momentarily. But I'm excited about this week. I'm excited about this episode. We're going to talk recruiting. We're going to talk name, image, likeness, pros and cons of players getting paid. We're going to make fun of the Miami Hurricanes, obviously, because that's what we do around here. And the best thing, we're going to get MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, will break down England versus Italy in the Euro 2020 soccer final on Sunday.
We might have to go overtime for that.
Stay tuned, though, because Mark has been talking about this all during the pregame, guys. You don't want to miss it.
I guess we got to stick to the title of the show and get back to Florida State football. I would love to just continue on and on and on about that, but all right, I am trying to keep to our standards here and serve you Florida State football fans as we get close to ACC Media Days, or whatever they're called in the ACC conference. But let's go with the big picture, big topic story that's hitting college football, college athletics across the board. Name, image, and likeness. How does this strike you? What do you think are the pros and cons?
It's a payday. I mean, finally the kids are getting, their chance. You got a bunch of guys. Mackenzie Milton signed on day one. He signed the deal with the company with De'Aaron King, Miami's quarterback, so they've got a deal going on. I'm of the opinion, and Mark, we've had our back and forth on this before. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem. Let me just say it like this. I don't think athletes should be getting paid like their NFL players. I don't think in any stretch of the imagination. But I look at a guy like Mackenzie Milton, for example. This was a guy who at UCF was one play, one injury away from you listen to doctors talking about the fact that they had to discuss possibly amputating his leg after one injury. And I think there's a lot of people who look at football players, they look at them as these great athletes, these great, physical specimens. They're one play away from a career-ending injury. They're one play away from, in some cases, being paralyzed. I don't have a problem with you getting the money while you can, because especially if you're not going to have an NFL career, if your career is going to end at Florida State or Florida or Miami, get the money while you can. Now there is a opposite side of that spectrum that says, can a player possibly be bought? Can a player be bought during the recruiting process to come to school? Is that the way things are going to eventually go that route? It's a slippery slope factor, but as far as just a player getting, $1,000 or something to appear at Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet in Tallahassee, or Mackenzie Milton becomes a new sponsor of Jim and Milt's restaurant in Tallahassee, I don't have a problem with that personally.
Yeah, to a certain extent, the black market has been eliminated, and that's a good thing. Everything's above board. Everything is out in the open in terms of players being compensated for and being able to, in the true American way, be able to earn and be compensated for the work that they've done, not necessarily directly the work, but profiting over what they produce on the football field.
It's like how you and I got compensated with our Nole Game Day hats and wristbands that we got months ago, that we were promised months ago.
You didn't check your mail. You didn't check your mail.
How's it going, buddy?
Oh, there you are.
Did you lose?
Of a true American capitalist right here.
It is.
Logan Robinson, Nole Game Day.
I look rough. I haven't touched or thought about football. Sadly, it's crazy to think in the last 4 or 5 days, but a lot of NIL stuff, some recruiting stuff, and just trying to catch up with everybody this week.
Did you lose power? What's going on? Are you
good? No.
Blue light special.
Yeah, I hurt my knee pretty badly on July 4th, and I'm worried that I might be matching my left one with the ACL situation. I got it checked up yesterday and get an MRI in the morning, so I'm handicapped right now.
While we hope for the best, and we all legitimately do want the best to come for you, I'm going to ask the question that we're all thinking: how drunk were you?
We were actually halfway. I was at the beginning. It was like
Okay.
during midday, which was annoying. It was right when I got there, and so it wasn't at the, not even near fireworks.
Wow. You're becoming an old man. This isn't the Logan we joined 2 years
It's
ago.
disappointing. I got crutches in there. I've got a brace on right now, and that's reminding me of my days back in Child's high school days of snapping it in Gainesville on kickoff team.
Do you still have enough energy to mail me the hat that you promised me 6 months ago?
No, I don't. Now I lost all that energy. I've been stuck on my bed working from home today and icing all day long, and I've lost all my energy.
Jason showed a lot of care and concern there for a few minutes, and then he got right back to the hat.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
So, Logan, what do you think? Mark asked the question to me, pros and cons of the name, image, likeness. From what you've seen on the Tallahassee side, obviously we talked about Mackenzie Milton, a bunch of these guys signed stuff right away.
Yeah.
Where do you see this going? Do you see this as kind of a good thing that's going to happen, or do you see this as possibly a slippery slope?
I think it's got a long ways to go. I'm interested to see some more deals that go down. I think majority of these guys, definitely all across the country, are going to be maybe a little humbled. Maybe some of them think that they're worth a little bit more for the amount of rates that they're paying per hour. I think they're going to find out real quick. There's a reason why NFL guys pay this much money, but in college still it's a little minimal. It just depends on who you are. But there's some interesting things. I'm just hoping that they have good people behind them to help direct them, and I think a lot of programs are doing that. I think Florida State's doing a pretty good job at that. But, kids are going to be kids, and if they get offered this kind of money and they need to put out a tweet or two or put out an IG post, they're going to do it, and we've seen that, and they're probably getting paid a little bit, here and there, and that helps a lot, and that can go towards their families and such. And, I think, to me, I like looking at the business-wise and seeing how unique it is. Does it match someone's last name? Could it be like how it was with Dwayne Bacon back in his day, and you got a bacon brand that's helping endorse him? Like, there's all kinds of different things. I think it's got to be more unique than anything. And, Mackenzie's going the NFT route, which is still fairly new. Definitely, if you're looking at people with the most money are going to be probably your boosters at FSU and such. And, they have zero clue. A lot of people, even my age, have zero clue what an NFT is. And, there's a lot of educating that I think still needs to go on in that department. But, you're seeing them go out to a restaurant here in town and help them out and get some exposure for them, which is nice. And, you've got Andrew Parchman. He's, his pay rate is $30 an hour, which I think is, I'm wondering what that entails, though. Is that him doing autographs for an hour, which I don't think that's a good rate on him as part. I want him to increase that a little bit. Or is that him, on FaceTime helping a kid out? That's something that I think would be good. We're so new into this that I think it's got a long ways to go. But, you look at Thibodeau, who just got a deal with the owner of Nike, and they've got something going on, which makes it really interesting to me. How does that work? Is that safe for the NCAA? Like, how does that go? I think there's just so many crossroads we're going to face. And I'm wondering how distracting it's also going to be during the football season, because we got to see that Devontae Love-Taylor stated that he will not be doing any kind of NIL stuff during the football season. Only during the offseason he will entertain that. So there's some guys that have already said, hey, I won't be doing anything during the football season. I'm going to stay focused then. We're not going to worry about any kind of deals going on or endorsements, all that kind of stuff. So, and does that cause a problem in the locker room if there's a big game coming up and you've got Gaynor posting a new deal that he's doing and he's spending time on that all week, So it's going to be fun. It's a whole new world, and it's going to be interesting.
Get your money while you can. Yeah, that's my thing. It's a small window you have to be a football player. So get your money while you can. So we're going to ask you guys this question. This one goes out to Logan. Goes out to MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football. Who would have been your sponsor? If you had been a college football player and you could have gotten a sponsorship deal, who would have been your sponsor, Logan?
I think if I still had them behind me, I would, but it'd probably be those Natty Ice boxes.
Natty Ice.
That would immediately have to be it. And I think I've already given them too much advertising throughout the last couple of years. So probably them.
Would you have done like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, just like off the top rope, bang them together right as you score a touchdown?
I think I'd have to actually, I might not have them in my hands, but I would have to picture it. I mean, if I'm 21 then playing, then I'd definitely do it, most certainly.
MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, what would have been your sponsor if you'd been a college football player for the Fighting Kent State Golden Flashes?
That's a difficult one to answer. I will say this. I will say that based on the perspective coming from I won't fill in the blank of my age, coming right now, the number of companies that I would allow to sponsor me today and that I would endorse and be on board with is minuscule compared to what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
I'm talking about when you were college. This is college, Mark Rogers.
When I was in college. Oh my goodness.
College, Mark Rogers TV, college football. What is it?
Probably 3/4 of the businesses that were alive back then are gone and forgotten. This was back in the Stone Ages, 1990.
You said it. We did.
I did.
You said it.
Golden Flashes. Have you ever seen the Golden Flash? He's like a big bird, kind of feathery kind of guy, which makes no sense because he looks kind of like a sloppy, clumsy kind of figure, not a Flash, not a speedy athlete. It's very confusing. So I don't know what we could play off of that. Some type of maybe some type of chicken deal.
Chicken. That's a good deal. I mean,
we go the chicken route.
Our viewers have all said that I'm going to be sponsored by Popeyes, so I'm just going to hit the Popeyes route.
Chicken gets a lot of time on this show.
I will be the Popeyes route.
I think you need to be the Popeyes, obviously.
I'm saying that we're going to be doing this show on my birthday. If you guys really want to sponsor me with Popeyes, that'd be fine. I'd appreciate it. Little Popeyes right in front of you stuff. Let's just do that. Let's get that.
Drop it by his.
I'll send my email. We'll get it going there.
Yeah, leave your address down below in the comments, Jason. And I promise you, they'll leave you some goodies there. All those good Miami fans, they would leave you some really good, nice gifts.
Yeah, I'm going to tell them where I live. That's a good plan there. Good plan, Logan. You can't see it.
Hey, we already knew it wasn't a good plan when we told them where you were going to be at the football game down there in Miami. But you were safe.
They were too stupid to know where I was. They can't read numbers. They couldn't read section 326. They were like, couldn't see it. So they're dumb.
Yeah.
We'll rip on Miami fans later. Let's talk recruiting for a little while.
And before we get into recruiting, I'll let people know that I had plenty to say on NIL. That's over on Michigan Podcast. They had me on this afternoon. So check out Michigan Podcast right here on YouTube or your favorite audio platform. And I go on and on about NIL and my thoughts, and including a number of call-in shows where people called in, of course, in recent times. And we've got another one coming up tonight, 8:00 Eastern. All right, let's move on with Florida State.
Hold on. Don't say Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, is not unbiased. He hates Michigan, and he still does their podcast. There it is right there.
There it is. Now we know.
Every Tuesday, I do Michigan Podcast. It's Wednesday this week, I understand. Every Tuesday, though, I have been asked to do the Michigan Podcast.
Do you get physically sick as you're doing it? Like, I get physically sick when I had to interview Manny Diaz or interview Canes players. Like, do you get physically sick?
The 25-year-old Mark, physically sick. Business-minded guy that sits before you, no, doesn't get sick.
Mazel.
I'm good. I can detach. No doubt about that. 5 commits last week. So if you didn't get the rundown on the commits, go to Knoll Game Day. I'm sure they got plenty on all these commits coming in. We got 14 hard commits to date, 5 last week. Of course, we had the discussion here at the Voice of College Football on our Florida State show. But one more in the door. Logan, just a few days ago, in tight end Jarrell Powers out of Texas.
Yeah, this one that Dustin had been interviewing him a little bit on our NG staff, and he's a cat that, maybe rated low right now, but with how COVID went down last year, a lot of guys still are waiting to be evaluated, but the staff really likes him. He's kind of a really built kind of guy. He's still got some room to grow, but the staff really likes him. I do think they're still trying to work on bringing in another tight end, but they really see a lot of power with him. He's athletic. He's kind of long and rangy a little bit. And, that's what you like to see in a tight end, most certainly. And like I said, he's got more room to grow, put on some pounds too, and hopefully help in the blocking. But this is a guy that I think early on, whenever he made his visit to Florida State, I think he was kind of a silent guy and, was like, hey, this is it. I'm going to go ahead and pick Florida State and wait a little bit to make his announcement and get the graphics out there. And he's just excited to be a Nole, really. He's one that wants to be in Tallahassee, wants to be around that war chant, and help Florida State come, bring it back to prominence. And, Mike Norvell likes to toy around with his tight ends, so he's always going to keep on building that room. But like I said, I do think they're going to try to bring in another tight end. Obviously a guy that's key, big time target is going to be 5-star Jaleel Skinner, which is more of a hybrid wide receiver / tight end. They're kind of wanting him more of as a wide receiver. So that's why I'm still thinking, you got Jaleel in that class. You also bring in maybe a guy like Skinner, and you kind of build off that, because you already have so much that room right now in that tight end. I don't know how they're going to, first of all, watch film together. They're going to have to blow out another wall so they can all watch film together, because that is a big room right now. But Powers is, I think, I'm interested to see how his season looks ahead. I think there's still some things for him to work on. But, going up for that ball in the end zone, that's the kind of guy in the red. He's like more of a red zone threat to me right now than anything.
Jeremy, I'll be in section 27, row 46. Come up and see me. I'll be the one doing the chop.
Whoa, are you telling everybody where you're going to be sitting?
I've told them for 2 years. It's been the same seats we've had since 2013.
Well, we're on the FSU YouTube here, so we should be good.
You're in the bougie section up in the Champions Club. I get it.
No, I'll be near you this year.
I'm down with the real folk. Maybe you'll throw, banners.
I was trying to throw you like a chicken nugget.
That would have been fine. I would have taken that in a heartbeat.
You sure with COVID going on? You sure?
I'm fine with that. I got my vaccine. I'm good to go. I like the Powers commitment because it shows what Florida State's been doing as far as getting these guys into campus. He came in, he did his official visit on the 25th, he visited on the 25th and committed 1 week later. He took visits to Colorado, took visits to Oregon State, but he committed after the Florida State visit. So I agree with Logan in the fact that makes it look like he is, he is bought in to the Florida State. I also like the size. He's a 6'4", 238, 240-pound player. It's that Texas football, big guy, big muscular guy. He's a track and field guy, so he's got a little speed. If Florida State can hold on to this commitment, I think he's somebody who could be – I'm not saying he's going to be the best player in the class, but he's somebody who could be a very valued commit for Tribe 22. I mean, are we gonna give TFJ Boxing some love here? That's big.
Absolutely,
money.
We will.
That's big money moves.
TFJ Boxing is here for us all the time with great comments, support. TFJ Boxing, appreciate the seldom used super sticker, whatever that is. We love it. Super sticker from TFJ Boxing.
How many wristbands could you buy with that? $25.
About 40.
Okay.
45, 50 maybe. Depends on what kind of deal you get.
TFJ Boxing knows that the show needs and wants and could use some support. So thank you for that.
Thank you, TFJ Boxing. Appreciate it.
114 strong, but let's not take it for granted here.
Where's Rona with his $10 that converts over to $13.78? Come on, 10 euros. Come on, buddy. Give us your money. Come on, and we'll take all your money. We'll take your $13.78. Come on.
Take it all. We'll rip it away.
All.
At least 114 weeks. Insanity. We're getting close though. July 7th. We're starting to creep. We're just crazy to think this time next month we'll be nearing. We're getting fall camp is right around there.
2 months from today, we're going to be 0-1 after losing to Notre Dame.
Wow! Look at that.
Get excited.
Pessimistic.
Unbelievable. Logan, I will.
It's got to be about the offensive line, right?
Logan, I will be there with the real folks in the real stands, not in the bougie Champions Club like you. I will be there with the real fans, chopping it up, screaming. And while in my heart, I think Florida State wins 49-0. In my head, I think we lose by maybe 10 to 14 points. But we will talk more about that as the season goes on. And maybe on a hot take later on at some point before the season. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for hot takes today. Today's hot take, Logan will love. I promise.
Jason, my hot take is Jeremy's put me with the GOATs with Jameis Winston and
GOATs.
Dalvin Cook. I'm down there with Dalvin Cook and Jameis Winston. What are your thoughts on that one, Jason?
I actually would like to bring the in here on something. Logan compared a certain running back who I believe is in the 2024 recruiting class.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Cam Davis. Folks, Logan committed the ultimate sin for Florida State fans.
Whoa, I didn't compare him. No.
Hold on. Logan committed the ultimate sin. He used Cam Davis and compared him to Dalvin Cook. I'm not saying he said he could be Dalvin Cook, but he compared him to Dalvin Cook. Logan, I'm going to give you a chance with the viewers here, with Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football.
When did I ever do that?
To renounce your comments and give Dalvin Cook the respect he deserves as arguably the greatest running back, at least top 3 running backs in the history of Florida State football.
First of all, I never said Cam Davis is going to be Dalvin Cook. This is what Cam Davis said that he would like to be, and he feels like he, at what his age right now, he said it on. We got the clip of it. He said that he's got better cuts. No. He might have better feet. Might be quicker. He's the one that said it. I didn't say so. That's what I got to use on my YouTube and say, "Oh, could this be the next Dalvin Cook?" And no, he gave me the quote. And no, I actually compare him to Leonard Fournette, at least what the size he is right now, because that kid is, I don't know. I mean, he's not going to be ranked for a little bit longer, but I mean, that kid is crazy. The real threat to FSU is the MLB, but I mean, this kid looks just like a baby Leonard Fournette coming at you. And, we'll see if Florida State's able to stick with it. I believe Georgia's going to come extremely hard after him. They're able to do that with their stable, as usual, in their running back history. They can do that all day long. Florida State also has a good argument there, too, with producing some really good running backs that are done well in the NFL, along with, too, you got Mike Norvell, who's also put a few in there from Memphis. So, but Cam Davis, I think, is going to be fun to watch. We got a long ways to go before then, but I don't think Dalvin Cook is still the best running back that ever came through Florida State. I don't think a lot of FSU fans will argue that. Work done, I wish I could have seen in person. But Dalvin Cook was with the offensive line that Dalvin Cook had to work with.
Right.
It was
work done will always be number one. With all due respect, work done will always be number one. Dalvin Cook, I believe, is more valuable than work done because, and we've talked about this before, there are 11 games over Dalvin Cook's 3 seasons that Florida State won because of Dalvin Cook. He was much more valuable because he was starting to be on that downhill side. And as somebody who watched Devontae Freeman in high school at Miami Central and thought Devontae Freeman was a beast, Dalvin Cook was immensely better. Dalvin Cook is arguably the greatest high school running back I saw, bar none. So sorry, Cam. I hope you come to Florida State. I wish you do, but no, do not say blasphemous words like I am better than Dalvin Cook. No, no, sir. No, sir. No.
Hey, now he can use this as a clip, and he's going to play it before every game.
And I hope he does, and I hope he proves me wrong and is a better running back at Florida State than Dalvin Cook. But in high school, no, sir. No, thank you.
Speaking of great debates, we are putting together a little rumble between one Jason Parker and Cam Underwood from State of the U to battle it out between 2001 Miami and 2013 Florida State. So all you Florida State fans, Miami fans on here, be looking forward to that. We will do a live show with Cam, with Jason, myself moderating, of course, fact checking. So of course, keep that in mind, Jason. Fact checking.
Unlike Cam, who, God bless him, he's a great guy, and we've done stuff with him before multiple times. Great guy. He's going to sit there and yell and say passionate, blah, blah, it's all about the new, blah, blah, greatest team ever, NFL players, and I'm going to come with actual facts. And just like if the teams played on the field, Florida State would win.
Well, Jason, of course, my comment, I was just taking a slight little jab there, but I will be there doing my fact check. I'm going to do my homework, so I've got actual facts there as well. But I trust both of you to bring the passion, but also to bring the facts, the stats, and the logic. So it will be interesting. The only thing I have to decide as to whether not that, everybody's got their own opinion on this. So I don't expect there to be a winner per se, but I still have yet to decide whether I'm going to make my call at the end of the show. Well,
I think I know what direction you're going to go with it.
How do you know?
I do. Because after 114 of these, 109 I've been on. By the way, Logan, we start
102.
I've been 100.
Yeah, you're slipping.
Logan, by the way, we start at 6.
You were like,
we start recording these every week at 6. Just give me a heads up on that.
Yeah.
I see.
He basically had to crawl to get to his chair. So
I did crawl. I did get some ice, and I want you to come. Can you massage my knee?
No,
Dang it!
no. Tell you what, you send me a hat. I'll get one of those sorority co-eds to come over.
Oh God,
You can ever take care of that.
they're rough down here. They might hurt my knee more. They're aggressive.
Well, don't go with AD Pie. You got to go with something like a Tridelt or something like that. We've officially gone off the rails here with Mark Rogers.
Yeah, we have gone off the rails.
Yeah, Jason's hitting like half the show since his perfect streak was broken.
All right, I'm at 109 out of 114. What's has Logan even hit triple digits?
Oh yeah. We've been. I feel like there's definitely not been 14 missed.
Logan's been rock solid for a long time.
We've been on a crackhead streak right now. Like I was like, gosh, I wonder what happened since Sunday, because I've been completely out of it. As you can see with my hair. I mean, I have no idea what's going on with my hair right now.
Your hair always looks like that. Your hair always looks like that.
Okay, Lee is coming at me with a question or comment here that I'll explain. So he says, Mark, I watched one of your videos where you explained FSU's momentum in recruiting. Momentum would not be the proper term to use there, actually, Lee, but we'll get to that. On the recruiting trail, as successful due to the number of commits we have, and that's not true. We have the least of the top 5. Okay. First of all, it was not analysis that I made. I was posing a question to Nate Greer, who was here last week, just because I talk recruiting with dozens of teams, dozens of contributors all across the board. And I just noticed, I didn't take like documented, detailed statistics on this, but I had noticed generally that Florida State had more commits at this point than other teams. And so I served that up to Nate just to ask him how much of this number 3 class in the nation, as it stands right now, has to do with the quality of the class versus the quantity of the class. I was posing a question. I didn't make a judgment because I hadn't studied it. That's number 1. Number 2, your use of the word momentum is misguided there. But I will look up as we talk and let Jason and Logan go at it here. I will look up the top 5 in the rankings right now, and we'll see what the hard commit total is.
Yeah, and Logan used the word pessimistic already, but I guess I'll take the pessimistic approach and route with this. Number 1, out of what do we have? 14 commits at this moment right now. I believe that's our number.
15.
15. I apologize. Yeah. So we have 15 commits right now. Any notion that all 15 of those commits will be signing come December or February at the latest, that's not going to happen. And I feel like there's a lot of FSU fans. At times, I've wanted to tell Logan to calm down. At times, I want to tell Nate to calm down. But I get it. I understand. We're in a mode right now where we're happy to see some success. After 4 seasons of disappointment on the field, we're happy to get something good coming our way. I think a lot of the recruits right there, a lot of these guys aren't coming to FSU because of what we've done in the past couple seasons. They're coming because of the flash. They are becoming the circumstance. I think Mike Norvell's doing a heck of a job selling at this rate. He's doing a heck of a job selling this class, selling the future, selling, hey, we may get our butts kicked this season by Clemson, Notre Dame, Miami, North Carolina, but you're also going to get it on national TV. You're going to get a chance to play. You're going to get that exposure. Things were so bad last season, our worst season since 1975, that you may get a chance to play as a freshman. Like Logan's talked about, Travis Hunter will likely be in, if he's not in the starting lineup, will be playing early and often against Notre Dame. If we get someone like a Marvin Jones Jr., I think he gets a lot of early playing time against Notre Dame and plays a lot in that first month of the season. So that's what it is right now. But the notion that all 15 of these guys are going to turn to Florida State, I will say right now, if Florida State gets 10 of them, they will be left.
Yeah, no, they won't be getting all those guys right now. All 15 of those guys on the list right now will not stay committed. They will, or should I say, won't be signed with FSU. There will be a few that will pick other places to go because there might be other places. There might be other players that FSU is bringing on, or Florida State just might not be successful in keeping one of them, or 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever they are. I mean, that's just how recruiting goes now. That COVID's gone too. You're allowing guys to go visit other places, and it seems like Florida State's done a good job though, where a lot of guys that are coming to visit FSU seem to be that turnaround of committing, and it seems to work is working very well for FSU. So, just we got to be realistic though for FSU fans. Florida State might be on some really good momentum right now, and that's exactly what you want to see. That June was huge for Florida State. They put in a lot of work for it too, but got to be realistic that not everybody on that list is going to be signing with FSU. I think there are a lot of hard commits there. I think there are guys that believe in the way Florida State's going right now. They got to see it on the field though, but who knows? I mean, majority of these guys might be just still waiting for that kickoff against Notre Dame and going into the third quarter and seeing if there's been some progress, but they got to be real sometimes. And that's what the fun of the recruiting is, fun of the whole part of it. It's fun. But sometimes it's fun, sometimes it stinks, though.
I agree. But you know what we are committed to? What we're giving a hard commitment right now. I'm putting the commit hat on. I know, I got a bad hair day too, but I'm going to put the commit hat on, and I'm committing to Logan Robinson from Noel Game Day hitting that like button and telling you why you need to hit that like button. I'm taking my talents to the like button. Go.
If you got to hit that like button for a majority of two reasons. Number one, you get to see Jason more because he loves seeing those like numbers go up, and number two, you just get to see us again this whole football season, either happy or sad. Sometimes at 3 a.m., after a Miami loss, you get to see Jason on the screen after a long day at work and watching the Miami game.
That was a vintage episode.
That was almost 200 people. 200. I never knew we would have 200 or so people at 2 a.m. watching us.
Nothing like getting a drunk text from Logan Robinson at 1:30 in the morning saying, quote, "We doing this live show?" And I thought, okay, this is going to last 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Logan will pass out on the computer. We'll figure out. 45 minutes later, we're still going on. So, yes.
That was after what game?
The Miami game, the 52-10 loss to Miami.
Oh, that was the late night game?
That was the late night game, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it was late at night, and I was doing my thing. So these guys were kind enough to take the bullets. Go on the Miami channel. We've got a Florida State channel.
Yeah,
we got you protected. We got you protected now that if we do this going forward, we'll have you on the Florida State channel, of course.
Good.
We're not. I forgot.
If we lose 52-10 to Notre Dame or Clemson or Miami or North Carolina again, I'm not doing another one. Mark that down. Florida State has to lose by 14 points or less.
Come on.
Well, if you're on board with Georgia Ron, you got nothing to worry about because it's going to be like a 9-3 season.
Georgia Ron, you have a solid goatee going on there, solid beard action going on there. I've only got a little one. Logan's got his baby fur going on. On that one. But no, Georgia Ron. In a perfect world, 8-4, 9-3 would be likely, but that has to be. Everything has to fall right in Florida State's direction. Clemson, we're not going to beat. I'm just going to say it right now. We are not going to beat Clemson. I don't think we beat Notre Dame. I don't think we get killed by Notre Dame, but I don't think we beat Notre Dame. And I definitely think we lose at North Carolina because it's on the road. Everyone seems to forget. We were one Joshua Kane-known pick six from losing to North Carolina last year at home. So I seriously think we lose those 3 games without a shadow of a doubt. So that means we need to beat a Miami team. We need to beat Florida. We need to win every game we're supposed to win and not play like we played the last 4 seasons and underachieve. So, yes, I think in a perfect world, Georgia Ron, 9-3 would be amazing. I think this is what Logan was talking about being realistic. We need to be realistic. After a 3-6 season, take 7-5 and be happy. Take 7-5, go to a decent bowl game, maybe win a bowl game. If God came down and said, "I'll give you 8-5 and a bowl win," take it now. Take it right now. Absolutely.
In one of the upcoming shows, this is what we should do. We should have like a stats projection kind of show to say, let's assume, and this is crossing the fingers, Mackenzie Milton can make it through 12 regular season games plus a bowl game. How many touchdown passes? How many yards does Mackenzie Milton? What is a good-looking season for Florida State to get to like a 7-5, 8-4 for Mackenzie Milton? No. Let's save this for a future. I know Jason's he's
No.
ready
He's
to
ready.
pounce on this one.
No.
Let's look at the running backs. What do we need out of these guys? What's a good looking season? You go to the wide receivers. We'll do this. We'll go around the field on both sides of the football and see, who needs to rack up some sacks, some tackles for loss, those sorts of things.
No, we can break that down fine. I can just say simply the best goal for Florida State to finish with a 7-5 season, have 4 more wins this year than last year. Quite frankly, give a damn. Give a damn about the tradition that Florida State had. And I'm not talking about, because Florida State, let's be honest, except for the 1960s, Florida State was not a power football program. That's just a fact. The 1960s under Bill Peterson, and then when Bobby Bowden came in, it started in 1977, and that streak of winning seasons under Bobby Bowden. Then Jimbo Fisher through the first, I'll give him the first 5 in his first 5.5 seasons in Tallahassee when he actually cared. That's other than the rest of the time, we weren't that good. So I'll admit that. But we need to actually care like we were that Bobby Bowden team, those Bobby Bowden teams, the beginning of the Jimbo Fisher era. Win the games we're supposed to. I don't mind if we lose to Clemson because Clemson's a good team. I don't mind that we got blown out. Okay, I'm going to start this sentence again. I mind that we got blown out to Miami last year. I mind that we lost by 42 points. I don't mind that we lost to Miami because Miami was a good team last year. I mind that we lost to a Miami team in 2007 where Kirby Freeman was the quarterback that led Miami to victory. Those are the games I mind. I don't mind that we lost to Notre Dame last year. I mind that we lost to Louisville, who had 1 win coming into that game. I mind that we lost to Pitt in Tallahassee, who Pitt came down and took us to the woodshed. I don't mind if we go 7-5, and those 5 losses are Clemson, Notre Dame, North Carolina, Miami, and let's say NC State, or let's say Florida. The 5 losses that everyone thinks we're going to lose right now. If that's what happens, and we win the games we're supposed to win, that's the step forward. That's what Florida State has to do, because then you can say, all right, you're 7-5 this season, let's say 8-5 with a bowl win. Then all of a sudden you come into next season, in 2022, the schedule's a little bit easier, and then all of a sudden 10 wins becomes realistic. Maybe being competitive against Clemson becomes a realistic idea and not just a pipe dream.
So the topic I'm going to pose for each one of you kind of leads into a future discussion where we're going to do a stats projection. If you were going to put money on the line about Florida State's record and standing this season, but you could talk to Nostradamus and ask him one question and say, okay, I need one bit of information. What would you ask? Mine would be, how many games did Mackenzie Milton start and finish? That would be my question. If I'm going to project the record, that's the one thing I want to know.
Well, let's do this right now.
What would you want to know?
I'm going to ask Logan Robinson that question right now. We're going to start it right now. Logan Robinson. You're
going to relay what Mark just told us?
Founder, editor, executive. No, well, let's ask that question. Logan, right. If you are right now, out of the 12 regular season games, and it could be for any reason. It could be injury. It could be, we're playing a god-awful UMass team that both you and I could start at quarterback and probably beat UMass. Mm-hmm. How many games do you legitimately think Mackenzie Milton starts a quarterback this season for Florida State?
Starts, takes the first snap.
I'll give it to you like this. Over, under 10 starts. Over, under, or push, 10 starts.
Going under.
You're going under 10.
I'm going to go under for me right now. I still think when we get closer to it, I do think Mackenzie Milton will play a lot. I do think he will start a good amount of games, but I still think Norvell and Dillingham are going to be really creative with it. And if it's going to be the first snap and we're going off of that, then I do think that it's going to be Jordan Travis is going to take. Right now, to me, I still think he's the guy to be going into fall camp. I might be crazy. I might sound crazy. He looked really good in the spring game. I still think there's some more work to be done, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of question marks in that quarterback room. Going back to Mark's question, though, I think for me, if I could know something going into the season, it would probably have to be the play on defense.
Yeah.
Jordan, mainly, I would probably say pass rush. I think everything, DB room is going to be fine because they're spring. You're able to figure out who fits where. And I think linebacker is you get another 2 young bucks that are going to play a lot next year with Steven Dix Jr. and DJ Lundy. They look phenomenal right now, and they're putting on some good weight and everything. And I think they're going to increase. And it's all in the mental for them. That's all it is. The physical, they're perfectly fine. It's all mental. But pass rush, I mean, it's all going to depend on defense. If I can know before the season and know what the defense looks like, and there's going to be better play there, that is going to be crucial for Florida State, because it was absolutely atrocious at times. And people were, we've gone through it before with fire Charles Kelly, fire Barnett, and there was immediately fire Fuller last year. So, and it was brutal. I mean, now that we've kind of gotten over a little bit and we're out of it, we kind of forget how atrocious it was at times. And that wasn't all fully on Adam Fuller, but there was some guys that were put in the right positions and plays weren't being made. But there was consistency there, and there was still some packages that were set up in the end zone where you've got 10 guys 10 yards off the ball, and that's easy, quick slant first downs for guys, and which sometimes ended up in the touchdowns. And I think some of us kind of forgot about how bad that defense kind of looked at times last year.
I agree with you on that one. First of all, hi Carla Freeman, how you doing? To answer the questions I've got, first of all, I do think you're crazy. I agree with you. I love Jordan Travis, the pride of Palm Beach County. I love what he did for us last season. I don't think you have the guy that comes in and transfers in who's on the cover of the magazines, and you say, okay, you're going to come in and you're going to start off as the back against Notre Dame on national TV. You're coming in, you're the savior, quote unquote savior of the program, the feel good story of coming back and bouncing back. You've been in the entire off season, and now with the whole name, image, likeness thing, your name is out there. And so I think Mackenzie Milton does start the opener against Notre Dame, and I think he's going to be a push at 10. I don't think he plays against UMass because, once again, I think UMass is god-awful. And I think he does maybe get injured in one game and he gets held out as a precaution. Maybe he gets injured against Clemson, he gets held out against NC State. Maybe he gets injured against North Carolina, something like that. So I could see him playing 10. My question to Nostradamus would be not about Florida State, because it would affect how I think Florida State can do against a few opponents. It would be, does Miami and Florida have any disappointing losses? I mean, use Miami as an example. Miami's going to lose to Alabama. Sorry, Miami fans, you're going to lose to Alabama. You should be a favorite in every other game, but this is also a Miami team that, judging by the Miami teams of years past, could lose to NC State, could lose to Virginia, could lose to North Carolina, could lose to Virginia Tech. Teams that they are better than, but have struggled against. Florida, you're going to lose to Alabama. You're probably going to lose to LSU and Georgia. Those are 3 losses right there. Is Florida going to lose to a Tennessee team? Is Florida going to lose on the road at Kentucky? Those losses could affect those teams' momentum and give Florida State a shot to win those rivalry games. I'm going to defend Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, for a moment. And Mark Rogers and I have disagreed on a lot of things, college football related, political related. We were different on things, but I'm going to defend him right here. Mark, equal opportunity hater. He hates on Florida State. He hates on Miami. He hates on Michigan. He hates on Notre Dame. But he also respects. So, Mark, I don't want you to stay out of the rivalry. I want you to be the Miles Lang to Maya Vander Holyfield and Cam Underwood's Mike Tyson. He's going to try to bite my ear off, and you're going to give me the victory out on a disqualification.
So here is I appreciate that, Jason. Here is the comment that Jason is referring to by India Anderson. Mark, just stay out of the rivalry between Florida State and Miami, which, of course, I take my instructions and cues from India on how to run my channels. 1 minute, you're on the FSU channel trashing Miami, and turn around and get on the Miami channel and start trashing the Noles. Phony. Okay. So, India, we've never heard from this individual before. So either they're a moron or they're just having a moronic moment here, one or the other. Because here's the deal. Even if I was a complete phony and had no integrity and didn't want to speak the truth from my perspective, I would be kind of stupid to have that approach, because first of all, everybody's clearly sees that when I'm on the Florida State channel doing a Florida State show, that we've got tons of Miami fans here. And when I go on the Miami channel and I'm doing the Miami show, we have tons of Florida State. and people do stuff called communicate. And if I'm out trashing and being a phony and talking out of both sides of my mouth all over the place, this is going to get communicated, and it's going to be out there. The only thing that I will say about my approach to all of this is that, is everything I say correct? No. Is everything I say my perspective and the truth according to my perspective based on the facts? Yes, it is. So sometimes that's going to be very complimentary of Florida State and its history. Sometimes it's not going to be so complimentary. It's going to be negative. It's going to be my truth from my perspective. Same thing with Miami. I just spit the facts and my perspective on the facts. And I, as opposed to a lot of people on YouTube who are just simply going for clickbait, they just want to shock people, piss people off, will say anything to piss people off and do whatever they can to get clicks. And then you got people on the other end of the spectrum who just want everybody to like them. I do neither. I will spit out a ton of stuff that people will like me for, but that's my perspective. I'll spit out other stuff that not a whole lot of people will like, and they'll be pissed off. That's my perspective.
India, you lit a fire under his butt. Jeez, India. Thanks a lot. Now we got to deal with this for 16 more minutes. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. All right. You know what we're going to do? I think Mark's right. So Logan Robinson Noel Game Day, Jason Parker, NBC6, Mark Rogers, the voice of college football. What we are going to do, do not throw a Chick-fil-A at me.
Well, he only wants Popeyes.
Keep your Christian chicken. The second Popeyes becomes our sponsor, we're going to be in good business there. Next week, we will not make fun of the Miami Hurricanes here. Instead, I will take all my venom towards the Florida Gators. And then that way, us and Miami fans can combine our forces into a mutual hatred for the Florida Gators. It's a beautiful thing.
What a magical cake you would make.
You know what else is a beautiful thing?
75 likes on this video. We're at 56.
Besides that, so you're going to shotgun another beer? I'm sure that's going to go great with your painkiller.
Oh, no, I won't be doing that. I won't be doing that anytime soon. Sadly, a whole 180 has been hit. I was having so much fun. I was like, dang, I think we're going to start hitting 75 every week. We'll just start shotgunning some beers. But now, sadly, I'm even though I have a fresh 24-pack in there, I don't feel like drinking anytime soon.
As you shouldn't. After what you did, you should not. But you know what you're going to feel like? You know what's really good? Hot takes. Hot takes. They make everyone feel better.
Oh, yeah.
They make everyone feel better. And this week's hot take, we're going to the Coastal Division. So some coaches are on the hot seat. Some coaches have jobs safe. Even though I will say, Dabo Swinney, you did say you'd resign if players were getting paid. You did say you'd step down. So at any point, if you want to step down from Clemson, we would appreciate that. So,
yeah, now what happened to that, Dabo? What a big talker. All talk.
Exactly.
All talk and a bag of chips.
Well, he's not. He talks a big game, but we all know he's fake. He's the phony. We all know Dabo Swinney's the real funny. And then here comes the Clemson fans who are going to send the death threats on Twitter. So go ahead. But his job is safe. Mike Norvell can suck this year in Tallahassee. His job is safe because we don't have the money to pay for his buyout. But I do think we will have a winning season. I think we'll be safe. But there are two coaches in the ACC who will lose their job after this coming season.
Ooh.
And they will come from the Coastal Division. Sorry to say, I'm going to say it right now. David Cutcliffe from Duke and Pat Narduzzi from Pitt, I think they both get fired after the season. I think both Duke and Pitt have matching records this season. I think they both finished the year 4-8. And I think Cutcliffe, you've seen lately at Duke, has been, after winning the Coastal Division in 2013, getting slaughtered by Florida State in the ACC Championship game. But he brought Duke. Let's give David Cutcliffe credit. He made Duke a respectable football program. Last few seasons, you've kind of seen him going more towards the downhill slide. I think 4-8 season this year, I think it's done for him. And I think Pat Narduzzi was a good coach at Pitt. He was a good coach, but I think that's another coach who has been living off of a few good wins once in a while. I think he had that win in 2017 over a Miami team that was ranked number 2 nationally. He's got a few good wins, but I do not think a 4-8 season will keep him employed. So I think my hot take this week, David Cutcliffe and Pat Narduzzi both lose their jobs after this season.
Sometimes, Jason, I take a bit of a shot at your hot takes.
You do.
I very much enjoy this week's hot take.
Because?
Because it is truly a hot take in my estimation. I think it's a unique one. I think it is an insightful one. So on the David Cutcliffe topic, I will say, similar to what you had to say, he took over a horrible football program. It took him a long time to ramp it up. Took him like 5-6 years. Once he did, they had 6 or 7 really quality football seasons there of going 7-5, 8-4, roughly, highlighted by the championship game appearance. But they've been bad for quite a while now. It's been 3 to 4 years that they've been pretty awful. And so with him, you don't know, because the guy does have a lot of respect and equity with that program, and the program expectations are pretty low. But 4-8, you would think at some point, yeah, they're going to be looking for a younger guy to provide a spark, some energy, get that thing rolling. But David Cutcliffe has a ton of respect across the sport. Now, when it comes to Pitt, yeah, Pitt seems like they should go 7-5 forever. They're just kind of like the same football program all the time. 7-5, 7-5, 7-5, all over the place. Now, Narduzzi's actually done a decent job there. They play a difficult non-conference schedule typically. Now, this year, I don't see where they're not winning more than 4 games. I'm looking at their schedule right now. I see UMass out of the gate. There's a win. They go to Tennessee. Maybe they lose that game. That's a toss-up.
Hold on. Don't doubt the Minutemen. Okay, you can doubt.
Never doubt the Minutemen. Okay. Western Michigan and New Hampshire. They're 3-1 right out of the gate.
All right. And
Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Clemson, Miami, Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, Syracuse. So I think Pitt's going to be decent this year. I'm just not seeing that. But it is a hot take, because that is an unconventional take right there. I enjoy that one.
Yeah, I think the thing that's going to hurt them is, and you look at the schedule and you mentioned the schedule, and I'm pulling it up right now. So yeah, I agree with you. I think they do go 3-1 to start. But I think the thing that hurts them is you play Georgia Tech on the road. You play Virginia Tech on the road. You have to go to Duke. You have to go to Syracuse. And then you've got Clemson, Miami, and North Carolina, who are all at home. I think they lose all 3 of those games. So there's 3-4 right there. I think they beat Duke. I think that's their 4th win. But I can conceivably see them losing. The Virginia game is a toss-up game, because it's which Virginia team is going to show up. Is it going to be the Virginia team that we saw in 2019, or the Virginia team that stunk up the bed last year? So I think I agree with you. I think they're a team that could be a 6-6, 7-5 team. I just think things are going to fall on the bad side. So Logan, what ACC coach are you putting on the hot seat other than your BFF, Mike Norvell?
My bestie.
Your bestie.
I forget, what was the record that Virginia Tech was last year?
Justin Fuente. He's on my hot seat. I've got a hot seat video out there. Justin Fuente is on that hot seat.
I forget what they went last year, but I feel like that was a complete letdown. They
went 5-5.
Yeah, I'd probably have either them.
6.
But they went 5-5, but I believe it's also they lost the 1 game to Miami at the end, and they could have beat Miami. That would thanks a lot.
Justin Fuente is under 500 after his first 2 seasons there. So they're not going to put up with that for long.
Yeah, no, he'll probably get maybe another season, but I mean, he's probably they're keeping a close eye on him. I mean,
and their recruiting classes have been atrocious, awful.
Yeah, where are they at right now?
They're they had like a recruiting class like 65 last year, something like that, 55 or 65. Awful.
Had you been to Blacksburg, Virginia?
Beamer got players there
because Beamer was a good team. Beamer had good, respectable teams. You can recruit great with good, respectable teams. Tallahassee used to be a crap hole until I all of a sudden came up there, and then it became the booming metropolis.
Then you fixed it all for them.
Absolutely, 100%.
I'm looking where they're at.
Next week's hot take is exciting, guys. Next week's hot take: what game does Florida State win to become bowl eligible? I will tell you when Florida State will go bowling. Stay tuned next week.
Okay,
Yep.
Florida or Virginia Tech's last two recruiting classes, 43 and 76.
It's not bad. That averages out to about 55.
I'm sure Jason can get into this comment that's left by Lee here. And Lee, to be fair with you, Lee had left the comment about me stating that Florida State had the most hard commits out of the top 5 in the nation. So Lee, and this is me not being a phony, of course, admitting when I'm wrong, is that basically what happened there was I was posing a question to Nate again. Based on information I had, I didn't look it up myself. People were telling me that Florida State had a lot more commits than other teams in the top 5 and the top 10. We looked it up here. There was one team, Oklahoma, that has less commits than Florida State right now. Everybody else has either the same or more commits in the top 5 than Florida State. So good job by you, Lee. So neither one of us were completely right on that, but I was more wrong on that point. So thank you, Lee. So Lee is asking, when is the last time all 3 Florida schools, Florida State, Miami, were good? My first response to that is, what do you mean by good? I don't know what that means, but
if you're going to say good, by good, if you're going to say bowl eligible 8-win season, it would probably be probably
2005, 6 in that range.
2008 when Florida won the title, because Florida State went to the Champs Sports Bowl. They finished the year 9-4, I believe. Miami also went to a bowl game that season. I'm trying to think, 2010, Miami did go to a bowl game. We went to the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Florida went to the Outback Bowl. So, yeah, maybe.
But if you're talking about championship good, you're talking 2000.
It would be the 2000 season. And so if we're going to go with that standard above everything, I'm going to say the 2000 season, because the last week of the regular season, all 3 teams were in the top 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Casey Cruz. What do we got here?
Casey Cruz. I've smack talked with Cam for a whole hour before. So keep talking like you know what you're talking about. Maybe you should actually watch the shows once in a while instead of saying,
okay.
Bro,
we like Casey. We love Casey.
$5. We appreciate your $5.
Casey's got the super chat here. We appreciate that, Casey. And I always read off the comment, of course. Mark, you really need to bring on Mr. Cam Underwood with these guys. Let's see how much trash talking they actually do with him on here. 52-10.
Brandon, we've done it before. We will continue to do it again, Casey. But why don't you instead of tweeting while you're driving there, why don't you actually watch your driving? You got your kid in the back. Be safe.
Yeah. What's going on there? Got the selfie going while we're driving?
Thanks, Casey.
NHNJ, it's called sarcasm. No, Mike Norvell is not on the hot seat. Do I think he should be praised like Logan Robinson and the Noel Game Day family does? No, but no.
He's not getting praised this season. Well, right now he should be getting praised after a 3-6 season and recruiting the way that's going on right now.
And Miami is a terrible team. Get off their jock. When have I been on Miami's jock? I believe
John says your take is insane. In what way? I don't know. I don't think it's insane.
So
I think it's quite possible.
I mean, it's insane for him to be a Florida State guy with a national championship trophy, because we're not winning a national championship this year. So nice try.
What?
We're not. Sorry.
Oh, man. I thought that was.
You're not going to Indianapolis for the national championship game. Sorry.
Dang it. I was really craving going to Indianapolis, too. That's just something that I've always had on top 5 of my bucket list. I've got like Tokyo, I've got Hawaii, I've got Greece, Italy, and Indianapolis is in my top 5.
If Florida State makes it to the Holiday Bowl, we do this show live from San Diego, guys.
San Diego. Mark, you traveling over there with us?
Little GoFundMe action.
Petco Park. Games at Petco Park this year because they tore down Jack Murphy Stadium or whatever, Qualcomm, whatever it was. So they're playing it at the home of the Padres.
If we get 1,000 for the super chat on a show, I'll be there.
Guys, give us the money.
Yeah. We'll hang out in San Diego.
It's a beautiful town.
There's a few.
Absolutely.
There's a few beaches that are interesting that I visited a few times that
love San Diego.
You don't have to have any clothing on. That's all I'll say, Jason. So, is that one of the key things you want to go see or something?
I mean, no, but okay. I don't know. You live your life, bro. We are not a judgment zone here. And yes, I just used the term bro. God, get out of my head, Miami.
Look what you did. Look what you did.
Oh, God, I sound like a Miami guy.
Sound like you live in Miami.
No. I live in
It's rubbing off on you.
Let's get it right. We live in Broward County. All right. I have a 305 area code, but I have a 954 address. It's originally from Miami, but now I live in Broward.
Before we sign off, we'll serve this one up. Harold would like to know that with Mackenzie Milton and also with Duffy joining the roster on board, what's going to happen with Chuba?
I thought he was going to I legitimately was in the camp, and I know Logan will probably agree with this. I thought he was going to transfer, but I don't think he transfers now. I mean, the question is going to be, where is he right now in the rotation for 2021? I mean, Logan, you're more in tune with this. Would you say he's third right now? Would you say he's ahead of Tate, or?
Yeah, I'd definitely say third. In my opinion, I think Norvell sees a little bit more in him than maybe Rodemaker. I thought there's one of them's going to transfer. It just depends on when. I don't think it'll be before this football season. I think Rodemaker and Purdy are going to be here, and it's just how it's going to work. And it also helps too. These kids got an extra year after last year, so that helps everyone. But we got to keep an eye on seeing how healthy Chuba Purdy is going to be and how he is throwing the ball. I know there was a clip going around over the weekend of him throwing it to, I think, his brother out on the jet ski, and the arm looks good there. But gotta see how healthy he is. I think he's a talented dude. It was tough having both Rodemaker and you had also Purdy as true freshmen kind of being thrown out there to give him some tries. And I think that was just Norvell. He knew the season was kind of shot as it was. Wanted to get them out there to get some kind of college experience. So then the next time, if they do end up starting a game, then they're not freaking out like deer in the headlights. But Purdy is a guy that I think Norvell he liked a lot. I still think Altmaier was going to be Norvell's quarterback of the future for a guy that was going to be coming in this upcoming season. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin were able to grab him, but I think now, if I'm thinking quarterback of the future, it's obviously going to be AJ Duffy. Looking back at the Elite 11 camp and the opening and everything that he's been competing in, mainly the Elite 11, he played very well. A lot of scouts thought he was one of the top 5, definitely in that top 10 range of quarterbacks competing. Had some great balls. And he's more of a quiet guy, doesn't do a lot of interviews and such, and so that's why people are wondering if he's fully committed and such, but that's just kind of who he is. That's his personality. It's kind of a 180 from Nico, who was very vocal on social media and interactive. But, AJ Duffy is, Mike Norvell's future at quarterback, and also you got to keep an eye on Parsons, who's a 2023 quarterback that intends on committing pretty soon too, who is the big-time future, too. Very talented cat. I think of him as a baby Justin Fields at Florida State. Might be in the good running of landing very soon. So, yeah, so there's the kind of quarterback rundown. But, yeah, it's definitely going to be Milton and Jordan Travis show this year.
But you know what? That was not a phony take. You were not a phony.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
One more shot from India, therefore one more shot from me. So India says, I said what I said. I still think you're a phony. Mark, your undertone shade towards FSU doesn't go unseen. You always have something slick to say whenever FSU gets a commit. Stay neutral. What do I typically say on here when FSU gets a commit? I let you guys analyze it. I basically read the 247 Sports composite is what I do. Anyway, India, listen to this. Just please listen to this. I'm serving up real examples. India, if you would like to maybe clip off when I'm being phony and send it to me. Otherwise, you know what? My advice to you would be, why are you watching somebody phony on YouTube? Don't watch. Okay.
There's been more venom thrown at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, than me this week.
I know. What is going on?
From one person.
What is going on here? Trust me and Jason would tell you firsthand, obviously, but I don't think there's been any kind of phoniness going on. There's definitely not a different. I've jumped into watching Mark's. He's known. I've commented while he's doing Miami shows too, and It's all the same. It's just called coverage, and sometimes there's positives, sometimes there's negatives. But I think whenever Florida State's doing a good job right now, he's been positive. And
remember that, fans. Remember that, fans. Logan's watching the Miami ones, so remember when you guys.
I'm keeping an eye on him. I'm keeping an eye on him.
When you guys all tell me, well, you're a real closet Miami guy because you talk positive about Miami. Just remember who's actually watching the Miami stuff. It's that guy. That guy's on my right now.
I posted a video about a year ago, and I put it on the Miami channel, and I basically said, Miami, you have an average football program. And I went through a ton of bullet points. You won 57% of your games the last 15 years. There have been 43 teams in the country, 43 during the last time you finished in the top 10. There have been 43 other schools that have finished in the top 10 since you last finished. I went through all these statistics and basically said, you've got an average football program. And to their credit, almost all of them said, Mark, I was pissed off at you watching that video, but you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people, I think this was a first timer. I've never heard of India in here. That doesn't seem like a real name to me either.
No, it's probably a real name, but it's probably somebody who's like upset, closet Gator fan, closet Notre Dame fan, someone else. I'm trying to think who we've ripped on this week.
Not enough.
You ripped on Oregon. I ripped on Miami, as always. I think I took a shot at Florida.
It would be boring if we were all like,
Kent State. Did you ever turn down a girl at Kent State named India? Mark, I'm trying to think.
Did you do that, Mark?
Oh, there were so many, Jason, as you can imagine.
I know. I mean, you were the player extraordinaire. Yeah, I think you're the one who originated Mr. Steal Your Girl. I think that's where it came from.
Okay. Mark, I'm glad we're matching too. Jason, get on it. Get on it with us. Look at that.
Yes, we're looking for the Nike sponsorship.
I'm sorry, I'm rocking the free one from the Broward County Seminole Club. Shout out. That I'm a member of. That someday when you actually graduate from FSU, you're going to have to actually join an alumni association group, all right?
I'm going to have to start saving up.
This is a brand new one, courtesy my daughter. Father's Day.
Maybe spend money on booster stuff instead of your tickets with the bougies up there in the Champions Club.
I'll be down there with you this year. COVID happened. I couldn't go down there. I like being in the stands down there.
We got our guy Khalil chipping in here. We always appreciate Khalil being here. Who was the most underrated defender in the last decade from Florida State? I vote Nate Andrews, Reggie Northrup, or Marquez White.
Underrated.
Underrated one? I feel like I was just talking about this the other day, but it might have been on offense. Probably in the last decade, last 10 years, so 2011. An underrated is... I guess he wouldn't be underrated.
Who?
I was say Joyner, but I don't think he's underrated.
Yeah, Joyner came in as a 5-star. I mean, that's a guy who... Marquez White is a good option. Look, Mark's got something.
Dontavius Jackson?
I mean, he's the greatest linebacker ever. But
I got to stop doing that. You know
what's going to be great is somebody's going to sit there and write in the comments, man, how could you say Dontavius Jackson?
I know. I'm gonna lose that person forever, and they're gonna tell all their friends.
Dontavius Jackson and Marvin Wilson have gained the most grief on this show of any Florida State players. I think they're the two.
I think Dontavius was the greatest linebacker when it came to tackling somebody after they gained 15 yards. He was phenomenal. I mean, no one could tackle after a 15-yard gain like he could.
There's some names coming down in here. Well, now, Vince. I think was, very talented. We already know he's talented, but underrated maybe.
Was Northrop really underrated?
Northrop came out at a time where you had guys like Telvin Smith, you had Timmy Jernigan, you had a lot of great LaMarcus Joyner, great names on the defense.
Yeah, I know it was tough to kind of fulfill that. There's a few names. Well, Greg Reed, I think every fan will tell you that he was not underrated in anybody's house here in Tallahassee.
Greatest Valdosta State player ever, Greg Reed.
Jimbo really regrets.
Marcus Walker
I'm smoking a little doobie before the game.
DeMarcus Walker.
Marcus Walker. These guys came
He did
in
his thing.
recruits.
Yeah.
That's why
Walker did his thing. He wasn't. I wouldn't say underrated. There's somebody I was thinking the other day, but I completely it's shot.
DeMarcus Walker's last 2 seasons were monstrous.
Yeah.
14 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, and then his senior season, 19.5 tackles for loss, 16 sacks.
I mean, if he didn't get hurt, I think you would have an argument that Nasruddin would have been in that discussion. But I think the injury set him back. But he was arguably somebody who didn't come in as a 5-star recruit and was still a very dominant force on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a class act right here. I have not seen any comments or anything from Lee Koob previously. Lee dissed me in a very honest way. It was forthright, and it turned out to be correct, just challenging me on the hard commit number for Florida State. I acknowledged that I was just listening to people, didn't look it up. Boom, went with that. Lee, you're great. So Lee since then has basically said everything's good, says the content's awesome, and then in this super chat contribution says thanks for taking time out to try and explain something that's not explainable. You aren't a problem. Keep up the good work, and thanks, guys.
Les, he's just praising you. You gave us $10. Let's be honest. We're going to be transparent here. We're praising you because you gave us $10. Okay.
I just enjoy those kind of. I just like taking advantage of those kind of situations, like India brought up, so I can just kind of go off because I don't get to do that very often. Jason's been pretty mild and tame for a long time now, so he hasn't said anything ridiculous for a while. So
because we have no reason to be bold, honestly, and we've talked about it. We're coming off a 3-6 season, our worst season than before any of us were alive. Well, Logan and I were alive.
Yeah. Whoa, that's mean. I think Reggie Northrup's a good one. I mean, like you were saying, Jason, he came, going back to that defense, there were stars everywhere. I mean, Kirk Herbstreit I thought he was like in love with Marcus Joyner and Telvin Smith. I mean, he couldn't stop talking about him every week on College game day, and he spent so much time with them whenever he'd come into town for games. Mm-hmm. But when I think about someone that I don't know what was the question here? Someone that was underrated. I think of them coming in as someone we didn't expect them to show out, and they did something.
That's just I'm thinking somebody was like a 3-star or something like that.
Yeah, and then it wasn't talked about enough because it's kind of hard to.
Jim Johnson's got a decent one, and again, it depends on your perspective. Jason's going the route of lowly rated recruit who comes in, surprises, makes an impact.
Bjorn Warner was someone that's. I think he's definitely in the running for that one.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he's good, so I can't totally be on his side,
but for me, once he established himself, people knew who he was, and he got the credit he deserved.
Well, but for example,
maybe Terrence Brooks. I mean, you kind of forget about him because you had Jalen. Jalen. You eventually had Derwin James, but I mean, shoot, you had other DBs too that were just flying off. You had big guy that started off really good and it kind of dwindled down with those Tavares and McFadden.
I think you have to use.
You had Ronald Darby, PJ Williams, and then you kind of forget that Terrence Brooks was also as a safety on that team too, and he was a phenomenal player and has done very well for himself in the NFL.
But you also have to look at the reason I use the star angle is because you have a guy, I'll use an example, from down here in South Florida, from Miami Booker T. Washington High School, Matthew Thomas. Matthew Thomas was a 5-star linebacker who came in, was arguably going to become the next great linebacker, and was a disappointment. So I think that's why you got to use the star angle. And I'm going to combine the forces of peacefulness as a Jew and say I'm going to go with the German Bjorn Warner. Yeah. I'm going to forgive those things that happened in the 30s and 40s, and I'm going to move on.
Werner's final season was a monster year too. 18 tackles for loss and 13 sacks.
Yeah, the blitzkrieg on the offenses. I think that's probably it.
Good question.
Yeah.
All right.
Khalil Young was very good his last season. I will give that, yes, his last season. But for somebody who came in with the hype.
Yeah, that's some crazy hype for him.
And then for the first 3 seasons to not achieve nearly anything. I think that's why Matthew Thomas will I would say it was a disappointment. I don't think he had a disappointing career, but he was a disappointment based off the way he came in as a recruit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Best of luck to him. I think he's still playing. He's playing ball somewhere. I just saw he's playing in CFL this upcoming season. A lot of Knowles are, so best of luck to them. They're finally getting the CFL back, and that helps a lot of their families. So best of luck to him in training. And another thing, Jack. I was just seeing Jacquez Patrick agent reached out to me and said, "Hey, he's still with the Bengals. He's going to be playing this upcoming season. So best of luck to him too in training." A lot of guys that
Xavier Rhodes was somebody who was kind of a middle of the road recruit, but was a little bit. I don't know if he was 3-star or 4-star when he came out of Norland. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember back then. Was he underrated, or did were we thinking at the time, damn, that's a really good player? I think about how's the conversation going if you're at the bar and you're talking about players, what happened over the weekend, and you just forget about a player that did really well.
That was we used to be really good.
Yeah, I've been all through college, and that's my excuse, right here, as I always say, Jason, what Willie Taggart did to me. Look what he did to this wall over here. Got about, 45, 50 boxes of 24 packs of Natty Ice, which is a higher percentage of alcohol too, to make me forget about what happened.
You never drank when we lost 35-3 to Boston College under Jimbo, right? Never.
No,
never
I couldn't. That wasn't legal then. That wasn't legal for me.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah, well, it wasn't legal.
Let's all be honest, fans. We all
legal.
waited until he was 21. Okay.
I'm here live on YouTube. I had to wait until I was legal with it.
There's a term in Spanish, come mienta. All right, we're going to use that right there. We're going to channel our inner Miami. Don't translate that. Don't translate.
Oh my God, LaMarcus Brutus.
Guys, we're in the overtime section here.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Good crowd, folks. Thanks for being here. Let's just keep building. So if you love Florida State football, if you love college football, because we've got our Miami fans, Notre Dame fans, Ohio State fans, Michigan fans I saw, Clemson fans I saw, bring in more people. So let people know that we're here every Wednesday at 6 Eastern and crank it up. In the meantime, Knoll Game Day. What you got going there, Logan?
We got a lot of stuff. Mainly, we got our show tomorrow night. We're going to have on Rodney Hill, FSU running back commit from the 2022 class. He's been kind of a bell cow, so kind of want to pick his brain on how recruiting's going, how he's personally recruiting, who he's after, and talk a little bit about the staff. And then for the rest of the remainder of the week, we're going to just continue to do a lot of recruiting coverage, a lot of interviews. We're going to start getting prepped for the season ahead, which is going to entail bringing in some more staff members, and we just introduced one today. So we're looking forward. We're getting close to August. That's the best part, because August is also my birthday. Jason is Willie Taggart. I do think there is I think Willie Taggart did DM Jason on Twitter and was paying him a little bit of money 2 years ago under the table. Don't you think, Mark? I think that has to be accurate at sometimes.
I think this is the comment of the night right there.
I mean, just because I don't think that it's right to fire somebody after 1 3/4 of a season, yeah, that makes me such a horrible. But yes, I will proudly endorse the Taggart track right there.
That's got to be. You got to put that. You got to get a poster in the background and put it up there somewhere, like a frame, please. Okay. You've got to.
Hey, we will all be rooting for Willie Taggart to beat Florida in the opener. Let's all be honest. It's not going to happen, but we all will be rooting for Willie Taggart to hopefully beat Florida. Yeah. And if Willie Taggart does beat Florida, watch Logan. He's going to be sitting there going, "Oh, he's so good."
No, I don't know what I'll be doing. That'd be one of the strangest nights for me. That'd be just the strangest day for me if that ends up happening. I just wouldn't know what else to say, but probably just come on here and crack open a beer and we just talk some ball.
I feel like if Miami loses to Alabama, if Florida loses to FAU, and we somehow beat Notre Dame, thank you, Les. I feel like that could be arguably one of the greatest weekends of college football in a long while.
To be a lot of good, funny storylines going.
I mean, let's be honest.
And we'd have to go on here. We'd have to go on here on Sunday, the next day, because I'm not going to trust myself.
Two of those things are not going to happen. Let's just be honest. But yeah, hot take: Manny Diaz fired up for the season. No, unfortunately, I think Miami's going to actually have a decent season, and we'll talk about that as the hot takes go on.
What? You just started off with that, Eric. Terrible.
Hold on.
Now we're gonna give him
Hold
some
on.
love.
Hold on. Number one. Number two, they love him at Miami. They love him at the University of Miami. It's part of the reason that Mike Norvell, why people like Logan love Mike Norvell. When you're taking over for a coach that underachieved, I love Mark Richt, but Mark Richt did underachieve for what he was supposed to do at Miami. So, and everyone loves Manny. So Manny will not be fired after the season. Miami could go 6-6 this season or worse. But unless Miami goes 0-12 this season, Manny Diaz will not be fired.
If they go 6-6, he should get fired.
I mean, they went 6-7 his first season. Lost to got shut out by Louisiana.
That was his first season.
I'm saying if they go 6-6 this season, this is once again
against that schedule.
You're looking at you're thinking that Miami is the Miami of the 90s, of the early
I'm not.
80s. Miami has underachieved. Miami has been just like Florida State. Florida State should beat Louisville this season. Florida State should have beat Louisville last season. They didn't. They underachieved. Miami on paper should be a 10 or 11 win team. Miami mentally is a 7-8 win team right now.
Miami is one of the 15 to 20 best football teams in the country, playing an awful schedule. They should go 10-2. They'll trip up and probably go 9-3. If they go 6-6, when 9-3 should be the floor for that team against that awful schedule,
I agree.
he should get fired.
You can't see now you're hating on a Florida State alum, and I can't allow that. As a member of the Alumni Association, I can't have you hating on a fellow Florida State alum. Okay? I mean, I hope
I'm not saying he's going to get fired. I'm saying I would fire him.
Well, unfortunately, you're not the athletic director of the University of Miami. If so,
you want to be.
That's right now.
Would have no. I would be a football-only athletic director. I'd be like, you really want me to pay attention to that softball team or that soccer team? Not going to happen.
They don't have a softball team.
Whatever.
The soccer team keeps getting killed by us. So it's fine.
All right, everyone. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Logan Robinson, Noel Game Day. Get healthy, man.
Will do. We'll see what happens tomorrow after this MRI. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, let us know.
Will do. Most certainly. Thank y'all for thank you, Jason. Thank you, Mark. It's always a fun time.
JP,
It always is.
making it happen here each and every week.
I promise not to tear my ACL again. So you only have one of us on crutches next week.
You're going to promise that.
I promise you. I promise I will not tear my ACL this week.
All right. Wednesday at 6. See everybody next week.
Yes.